and then dropping bombs. Or punt returns with Antonio Brown. They always had good return games. So special teams is one thing that nobody ever talks about. Jake Moody's making his debut this Sunday in that stadium where it's tough to kick. It's a big game for Jake Moody. Big game.
The second thing I was thinking about watching that game last night, and you saw it in the first half, and then they interviewed Dan Campbell to start the second half, and he brings it's so look. We could say this for every game till the end of time, but I believe with this Niner team and their offensive line this early in the season against that defense and the respect, third down conversions are going to be vitally important. What I mean by that is it's not necessarily like what is their raw data on third down. Are they manageable third downs? Because if they're manageable third downs, that tells me that the Niners are running the ball well and executing well on first and second down. And I think everyone would agree the strength of this offense, no matter who is at quarterback, but in particular Brock Purdy, it's not a 5 to 7 step drop back, throw the ball 10 to 15 yards down the field when you absolutely have to. Is it 3rd and 4, and can I open up the playbook because you don't know what's coming?
Well, the money down is third down. And the money down with third down is the difference between winning huge games and not winning big games. It's the difference between winning Super Bowls and not winning Super Bowls. It has become the premier down because a lot of teams, you run the ball first down, second down. Third down conversions is a great indicator of who's winning a football game, or at least sustaining drives. You sustain a drive, you're taking time off the clock, you're extending drives, you're keeping the defense on the field, you're wearing them down, as well as keeping that offense off the field. I want to keep Pickens. I want to keep Kenny Pickett. I want to keep Najee. I want to keep Deontay Johnson on the sideline.
Yeah.
I don't want them on the field. They're on the field, and they're chewing up time. They're chewing up clock. That's not a good thing for the 49ers in the secondary. So 888-957-9570. What is your big key to Sunday's game? How can the Niners start off the season 1-0? How can they set the tone for the 2023 season? What are you looking for? By the way, shameless shout-outs again, 7:45 in 22 minutes. A lot of high school games. De La Salle plays St. Francis. De La Salle 0-2. My guy, Jayden Jefferson, my nephew. We got to get a win out there in De La Salle, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
So the other thing, when you watch back the first couple of weeks of last year, you were working in some new offensive linemen, and clearly there was a quarterback learning curve. All of the pre-snap movement that the Niners do, the window dressing, to indicate whether it's zone, man, to get guys moving and whatnot, it is vitally important that they're disciplined and they do not have the pre-snap penalties because it really set them back in the Bears game. It set them back the year prior when they faced the Philadelphia Eagles. There was a lot of pre-snap penalties on the offensive line and wide receivers lining up improperly. And if you're going to do all the pre-snap movement, which is great, it's amazing window dressing and it really helps your quarterback, you got to line up properly. The last thing you want to do is get behind the chains and behind the sticks, behind the numbers, and allowing TJ Watt to pin his ear back.
Yeah, I mean, early on in the season, you see a lot of sloppiness, right? Defenses are usually ahead of the offense. You heard Chris Collinsworth say it yesterday, and I totally agree. Offense, you don't have that continuity of playing games, right? So if you don't play a lot of preseason football, where are you going to be at? Where are you going to be at when it comes to the pre-snap stuff? Where are you going to be at with the motions? Where are you going to be at when it comes to pre-snap penalties? Are you going to be able to convert early third downs? Are you going to be able to get yardage on first down? Sloppiness, you see a lot of that in the month of September. That's why I think there's been a lot more urgency from these NFL teams in the preseason now. The first month of the season, especially last season, it was some bad football.
There was.
Some bad football. You see a lot of missed tackles. You see a lot of pre-snap penalties. You see a lot of turnovers. So early on in the season, that's why I'm glad Brock Purdy played in the last two preseason games. I'm glad Debo played a little bit. Where are they at offensively early in the season? Usually defenses are ahead of the offense, and that could be a problem in a game like this. I've seen Sam Lubman with the Miami jersey. This is why Miami and Florida State, they said, dude, we got to stop playing Labor Day weekend. This is not good football. These defenses are so fast and so ahead of the curve that we can't do nothing offensively. You start seeing all these 16-14, 14-13, 10-7 games early on in this game. That's why I like the under. And for all the gamblers out there, unders are going to hit a lot this week. I think the under hit yesterday in Kansas City.
If there's one guy for the Steelers offense that you want to slow down, who's that guy?
I don't want to get Najee and Warren going in the backfield. I want to make them one-dimensional. Make them one-dimensional.
Okay.
Put the ball in Kenny Pickett's hands and say, you know what, Pickett? Beat us today. Beat us with your right arm. What are you going to do? Now, Pittsburgh's going to take shots deep down the field.
They got some really nice receivers.
Allen Robinson, I think, is going to be rejuvenated being out there in the Steel City. And you got George Pickens who's making plays all over the place. Diablo Lenore is going to get tested. He's going to get tested deep. So Deontay Johnson, you can't really double anybody if they go 3 wide. And a tight end, Freiermuth. He's a good player, man. They're going to stretch the field, but if I could make them one-dimensional and keep Najee and Warren down and make sure that, hey, you're going to be in third and long situations, I'll live with that. What about you?
Well, I'm going to say the playmaking of Kenny Pickett. I feel like scrambling quarterbacks have been a component to kind of slow down the 49er pass rush over the last 4 years. That is the one area, and you could probably say, hey, scrambling quarterbacks hurt a lot of teams. Dallas does really well against those scrambling quarterbacks because they have such great team speed on the edges. I don't know necessarily if the Niners have that edge team speed that they've had in years past. Like, we will find out. Kenny Pickett is a better playmaker on the edges than I gave him credit for. I really want to keep him. I want him to beat me from the pocket.
No, I'm seeing a lot of Kenny Pickett as a joke. And
I don't think he's a joke.
Not good. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be damn good. I don't know how good.
Solid?
But I
think he's going to be solid.
He's in a situation like Brock Purdy. You don't need to be great. You got great players around you in Deontay Johnson. You got Najee Harris. You got George Pickens. You have Allen Robinson. You got this tight end. And Darnell Washington's their backup tight end. Kenny Pickett doesn't have to be elite.
No.
He just has to be solid and don't turn the ball over, which he didn't do in the preseason. So he doesn't have to be great. He doesn't have to elevate his team. You know, he's not in the Mahomes situation. He's not in the Josh Allen situation. Same thing with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy doesn't have to be elite. You have to make sure you keep the offenses on schedule and get the ball to the playmakers and let them do what they do.
Ray McCloud, is he going to play in this game? I mean, he used to play for the Steelers. They really could use a jolt in the kick return game. I mean, that is one area that they haven't had a lot of explosive plays, but in a tight defensive kind of matchup that you're looking at here, it would be really nice to get just a couple of nice special team returns.
Right. 888